and welcome to Ultimate Classic Boxing. A look back at the great fights from the golden era of televised boxing. I'm Corey Erdman. Perhaps no era in the history of boxing is looked upon more fondly than the span between the mid-1950s and 1960s in the middleweight division. Fight fans today like to talk about the good old days and how fights were universally better back then. While that is most certainly not true, and in fact, the frequency of fights in this era forced many fighters to be even more cautious, at this period of time, at the top of this division, it almost always was true. Names like Jake LaMotta, Sugar Ray Robinson, Gene Fullmer, Bobo Olson, and Carmen Basilio were the stalwarts of the division during these times, and were seldom in a dull fight on the big stage. The same couldn't necessarily be said about Paul Pender, who had unseated an aging Robinson for the middleweight crown in 1960. Pender was a brittle-handed stylist in the ring who had twice walked away from the sport due to injury and dissatisfaction with the politics in the sport. Healthy and aligned with power promoter Sam Silverman, he got a crack at Robinson as a stay-busy, almost gimme opponent. Nobody gave Pender a shot, except himself. He bet $2,000 on himself and promised to retire again if he lost. There would be no need, as he competently outboxed Sugar Ray and did the same again in a rematch. After destroying Terry Downs in 7 rounds, Pender was matched with fellow Robinson conqueror Carmen Basilio. Basilio was a former welterweight and middleweight champ who had recently failed in 2 attempts to beat the bigger, stronger Gene Fullmer, who had then held the NBA's version of the 160-pound title. The upstate onion farmer beat both Gaspar Ortega and Don Jordan, 2 career welterweights, and thus earned a crack at Pender. If not for his lifetime of valiant performances and pleasant demeanor, there might have been an uproar about why he was given a crack at the title in the first place. There was, however, concern about the well-being of Basilio. He'd fought 75 times to this point, 625 rounds, almost all of them savage warfare. There were questions about whether Basilio, who briefly retired following the Fullmer fights, was fighting simply for the money. Nonetheless, fans knew they'd get their money's worth if Basilio was stepping in the ring. And by the day of the fight, there was a sense of belief in the old warhorse. Pender needed 4 attempts on the scale to make weight, while Basilio was able to comfortably eat during training camp. We take you now to the Boston Garden. The date is April 22nd, 1961, and Paul Pender is defending the Ring Magazine middleweight title against Carmen Basilio.
The fight of the week. Your Saturday night cavalcade of sports feature. Brought to you by Miles Products, a division of Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer, the favorite of so many for relief that does so much. And one-a-day brand multiple vitamins to help you feel your best and looking. And Gillette, maker of the 195 adjustable razor and the remarkable Super Blue Blade that gives all but unbelievable shaving comfort. Foamy, the cream of all instant lathers. And Right Guard, the new power spray deodorant for men.
Nationally ranked heavyweight Tom McNeely. He will appear in this garden Tuesday evening, May the 23rd, in the feature attraction. His opponent, one of the world's outstanding heavyweight contender from New Orleans, Willie Pastrana. Also, another outstanding heavyweight contender from Syracuse, John DeJohn. Oh, Mike. That's Mike.
Well, Johnny is Mike's brother. There are about 5 fighting DeJohns, but Johnny is the one who never
Here
fought.
are the officials assigned by Massachusetts State Boxing Commission Chairman Herman Greenberg, Commissioner Eddie Urbeck, Tom Rawson, attending physician Dr. Timothy Lampier, timekeeper Skip Morrison, knocking for the knockdown Ed Ryan, judging Harry Sundberg, Joe Bloomsack, referee Eddie Bradley. Feature bout of the evening, 15 rounds for the middleweight championship of the world. Weighing 159, wearing black trunks, the challenger and former welterweight and middleweight champion from Chittanago, Carmen Basilio. His opponent from Brookline, Massachusetts, weighing 160, wearing white trunks, the champion, Paul Pender.
Referee Ed Bradley.
You both know the rules as well as I. Let me remind you, you must punch with both hands. Don't hold it in. If you tell your man umpire, hold his hands, but don't hold it in. Rabbit punches count against you, they're foul punches. Kidney punches will count against your foul punches. The mandatory 8 count is in effect. It is not waived. Clean, fast fight. Good luck to you both. See you next.
The scoring here in Massachusetts, the 10 points must system. The winner of a round gets 10 points. The loser gets 9 or less. Even rounds are scored 10 points apiece. They're wearing 8-ounce gloves, an 18-foot ring. The mandatory 8 count is in effect if a man goes down. There's the bell. There is never a 3 knockdown rule in Massachusetts. Pender is much the taller of the two. Basilio, a weaving type of fighter, figures to have to get in close. Pender had considerable trouble making the weight today. At the 160-pound limit, Pender came in at 161 1/4. It took him an hour and a half to get down to the required limit. Pender has a fine left jab, as you see. Basilio is prone to cut. Basilio's best punch is his left hook, which he rakes the body with as a rule. And he throws very good combinations. Basilio is in his 11th title fight, welter or middleweight. Ed Bradley getting him out of the clinch. One minute is gone in this round. Scheduled for 15 rounds. Not many expected to go that far. And there's a packed house, a very partisan crowd, I would say equally divided in their emotions. One minute to go in round one. Question is now, how much will it have taken out of Pender having to work off 1.25 pounds as late as early this afternoon? Finally made the weight at 130. 10 seconds to go in round one. A real filling out round. Hasn't been a good punch yet. There's the bell. Coming up to round two now in the Boston Garden for the middleweight championship. Defending champ Paul Pender in the white trunks. Carmen Basilio, ex-welter and middleweight champion in the black. Round one, a feeling out round. Pender, the champion, 4.5 inches taller at 5 feet 11. He has the reach advantage. He has quick reflexes and good footwork. Basilio has the fire. Scoring heavily with rights. This round is half over. There's a minute left in round two. He's got Pender holding on. A big round for Carmen Basilio. Let's go back to the corner with the champion and see the effects now. Working on him, trainer Leo Pratt. On the outside is Al Lacey, his trainer, and just out of the picture is Babe Woods. Paul Pender, who took quite a lathering in round two from Carmen Basilio. So let's go over into Basilio's corner now and see what's happening to the ex-champion. Facing him is Johnny Sulo. Leaning down in front of him, Angelo Dundee. On the outside on the left is Irv Robbins, who just flew in from Syracuse. And they have another man in there on the outside on the right, Johnny Dunn. And it was a big round for Carmen Basilio. It's scheduled for 15 rounds. Here's round three coming up. Carmen Basilio in the black trunks. Paul Pender, the defending champion, in the white. Pender said beforehand that he expected a tough fight. referee is Ed Bradley. Basilio is mixing his attack well, as you see. Head and body, body and head. Pender relying on the jab and an occasional left hook. Pender has not used his right so far to any effect. To go in round 3. In close, Basilio has shortened up to go to the body on occasion. To go in round 3. There's the bell. Coming up to round 4 now. Bell is sounded. Paul Pender, defending middleweight champion in the white trunks. Carmen Basilio, the challenger in black. But a good one so far. Pender is noted for his ability to pace himself, as he proved in both fights with Ray Robinson when he was well behind at the midway mark, but pulled him out down the stretch. Now we'll have to see if that happens tonight. Garden is the same, a packed house. Pender is slightly cut around the left eye. A trickle. And that right hand landed right on it. Now the cut doesn't look too good for Pender around that left eye. Seconds left in the round. the bell, and Leo Pratt, the cut man, rushes out to greet Pender and work on that left eye. So does Al Lacey from the outside. It's not that I'm an expert on cuts, but it looked a little angry looking to me, and coming so early in the fight could prove real bad as far as the defending champion Paul Pender is concerned. Here's something of interest to all sports fans. ABC, the #1 sports network, adds the top international sports events to its growing sports schedule every Saturday afternoon. The U.S.-Russian track and field championships, Japan's all-star baseball game, France's famous Le Mans sports car races, and many others. Next Saturday, it's the Penn and Drake relays in the afternoon, the best in track and field. Reserve your Saturday afternoon for ABC's World of Sports over most of these stations. Round 5. Pender can't afford to pace himself with a cut left eye now. He'll have to open up. He is opening up. Basilio bleeding a little bit from the nostrils. There are 2 minutes left in round 5. Both been knocked in the face so far. One minute to go in round 5. A trickle now from Pender's left eye, where it's been cut by the side of it. Ten seconds to go in round 5. Basilio seemingly is tiring. There's the bell.
Welcome back to Ultimate Classic Boxing's look back at the 1961 middleweight title fight between champion Paul Pender and Carmen Basilio. Although Pender wasn't necessarily known for creating exciting fights, Basilio was certainly dragging him into one. This came as no surprise to television executives who paid a whopping $75,000 in rights fees to air this fight. It's been worth every penny so far, so let's get you right back into the action.
Coming up to round 6. Earlier, there's the bell. Earlier, Basilio took the play away, but last round it was Pender. On a fairly close fight, I would say. Scheduled for 15 rounds at Boston Garden. Basilio is walking in a little bit more, and when he does that, he's a target for the left jab. He took his time in the early rounds. Don't they? The both of them. These are good fighters. Round 6, half over. Scheduled for 15. The cut by Pender's left eye is to the corner of the eye, and it's starting to trickle again. Bothering Pender. There's the bell ending round 6. Heavyweights move into St. Nicholas Arena next Saturday for the fight of the week as Pete Rademacher and Doug Jones go at it for 10 rounds or less. Rademacher had the unusual distinction of fighting for the heavyweight title in his first professional fight. He was KO'd by champ Floyd Patterson. Since then, he's developed into a ranking heavyweight, winning his last 7 and numbering among his victims Lamar Claude, George Chevallo, and Donnie Fleeman. He's won 12 out of 16, 6 by knockouts. Jones has had 17 fights and has won all of them, knocking out 9. Last year, he twice outslugged Von Clay and scored a knockout over Bobo Wilson. In his last outing, March 13th, he scored a 3-round KO over Floyd McCoy in Toronto. Rademacher versus Jones next Saturday on the Fight of the Week, brought to you by the Miles Products Division of Miles Laboratories and the Gillette Safety Razor Company. Round 7 coming up here, a packed house in the Boston Garden. Champion Paul Pender in the white trunks, Carmen Basilio in the black. Each has had his innings or rounds so far. It's been a good one and a close one. Pender with the flashing left hand, using the right sparingly. Carmen with the good left hook and the short right. Pender's the boxing master. Basilio, the boxer puncher. he's smiling about something, probably because he's the one not getting hit. 1 minute to go in round 7. Those are real jokes that Pender is throwing. And Basilio throws them. 10 seconds to go in round 7. There's the bell. There's the bell for round 8, coming up to the halfway mark of this 15-rounder that goes the limit in the Boston Garden. Carmen Basilio, the challenger in the black trunks. Paul Pender, the champion in the white. At stake is Paul Pender's share of the middleweight title, recognized in New York, Massachusetts, and foreign countries, Europe, etc. Gene Fulmer has the rest of the middleweight title. Basilio got off quick in the earlier rounds. Now Pender seems to be coming on. There have been no knockdowns in the fight. Each has been rocked on one occasion. A little bit more than a minute left in this round. Over. There's the bell ending round 8. Let's go back to the corner with Game Carmen Basilio. He has been one of the most exciting fighters of our generation. He won, lost, and won back the welterweight crown, and then retired undefeated as the welterweight king to go after the middleweight championship. He won that from Sugar Ray Robinson and then lost it to Ray Robinson in a bruising battle in Chicago. He's an exciting fighter. He's giving away 4.5 inches in height here tonight to Paul Pender, who is a vastly improved fighter and a far better fighter than he's usually been given credit for. Basilio has put on a fine show so far here in the Boston Garden. And I repeat once again, in case you joined us late, the place is packed. There must be 14,000 here. And if the fight continues as it is now, it may be very, very hard to judge. There's the bell for round 9. There have been no knockdowns. Basilio, the black trunks, Pender, the white. When Basilio stays down in his bob and weave and the crouch, he's hard to hit, but when he straightens up, it becomes a mark for the jab. Basilio bleeding hard from the nose now. Scheduled for 15. This is round 9. As I said before, Pender is a master at pacing himself. One minute to go in round 9. That's Ed Bradley, the referee. Seconds to go in round 9. There's the bell. There's the warning buzzer for round 10 coming up. It's a 15-round bout in the Boston Garden. There's the bell. Carmen Basilio, the challenger in the black trunks. Paul Pender defending the champion in the white trunks. Pender has been coming on the last couple of rounds. Basilio had an early edge. Basilio, 4 years older, figures to be at his best in the early part of a round. Two minutes left in round 10, 15-round bout. round 10 half over. Good left hook by Basilio. Paul seems none the worse for wear. There's the bell ending round 10. Back to the corner with Paul Pender. He was badly cut around the left eye as early as round 4, but Leo Pratt, the cut man who's looking in at him, has done a remarkable job. And incidentally, I might say at this point, in tribute to Paul Pender, that you're looking at a real good fighter. A man who knows how to fight. He's not of the sensational type. He fights to win, and usually wins. He's won 13 in a row. He won the middleweight crown from Ray Robinson, defended it successfully against Robinson, knocked out Terry Downs, and is giving a pretty good account of himself here tonight against game, courageous, and hard-hitting Carmen Basilio. Paul Pender knows how to fight. There isn't any question about that. The warning buzzer for round 11 of this 15-rounder at the Boston Garden. Pender in the white trunks, Basilio in the black. There's the bell. Basilio has reopened the cut beside Pender's left eye. It's been reopened several times, and they keep patching it up. Scored heavily there. One minute to go in round 11. Pender back to the attack. 10 seconds to go in round 11. There's the bell. Coming up to round 12 in the Boston Garden, Paul Pender's middleweight crown at stake. Pender the white, Basilio the black trunks. There have been no knockdowns in the fight. Both boys have been cut. Pender around the eye, Basilio around the nose. Pender around the left eye, that is. Left in this round. Well, there's never a dull moment here, is there? They're at it all the time. To a great extent, it's to Pender's advantage that he's 5 feet 11 to Basilio's 5 feet 6.5, 4.5 inches. But on the other hand, it's a disadvantage sometimes. It's harder to hit down at a man. Referee Ed Bradley mildly warned Pender for hitting on the brake, and that, as far as I've been able to notice, is the first infraction of the rules so far tonight, the first infraction that I could see, and a very mild one at that. It's been a grueling fight, but a clean one all the way, this battle here in the Boston Garden before some 14,000 very enthusiastic fans, seemingly about evenly divided in their favors. You're bound to find your favorite sport on ABC every Saturday. There's the fight of the week, followed by the bowling show, Make That Spare. Next Saturday afternoon, the Penn and Drake relays. See top sports attractions from all over the world. In the fall, NCAA college football, the Professional American Football League games. In December, all the Orange Bowl classics. For sports, keep watching ABC, the #1 sports network. Don Dunphy at ringside as we come up to round 13. Pender the white trunks and the guarding left hand. Basilio the black trunks. The left hook and the courage. Pender's plenty game himself. He came back in boxing from broken hands a couple of times. And he has won 13 in a row. from nowhere with those punches. Basilio looks up at the clock. They're going to hold everything, and it may be all over. I don't know. Let's see. The count is up to 8. And they're back in at 9. Hold everything. The round is almost over. Basilio is hurt. There are only a few seconds left to go. There's the bell. And Basilio is in real trouble. That's the first knockdown of the fight. Whether or not Basilio is going to be able to weather the storm is something else again. He was doing real good in round 13, having his best round, I thought, since the beginning of since the early part of the fight, when Pender suddenly unloaded right hands on him, and down went Carmen. And as far as I know, that's the only time Basilio has ever been down in his entire career. He was stopped twice by Gene Fulmer, but each time was stopped on his feet. Now we're coming to round 14. Pender in the white trunks, Basilio the black, the bell. He'll throw them as long as he can, though. There are 2 minutes left in round 14. Basilio rocked again. Round 14. 10 seconds to go in round 14. There's the bell. Here we come to round 15. Many of the experts thought it wouldn't go this far. Pender, the white trunks, Basilio, the black. Pender has come charging down the stretch in the last few rounds. He scored the only knockdown of the fight in the 13th. Basilio gamely trying to turn it his way, as ever. Bradley staying out of the way. There are 2 minutes left in this 15th and final round. With a right hand. He took the punch and seemed to shudder a moment. And now Basilio's very, very tired. We've got 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Carmen is tired, no question. 1 minute left. Basilio down. 3. Got to take the mandatory 8 count. 7. The referee tolls the count for him. There are 40 seconds left. Seconds left. Listen how the crowd has liked this fight. Basilio desperately trying in there. Let's see if that's a knockdown. No knockdown there. 10 seconds left. The crowd is in a bedlam. It's been a great fight. Bell. It's all over. A wonderful fight here in the Boston Garden. Paul Pender, the champion. Carmen Basilio, the challenger. One of the finest fights we've seen. And now Pender goes over to talk to Basilio. Here's Freddie Russo.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the official score by points. Judge Sundberg scored 147, 138, Pender. Judge Blumsack scored 147, 131, Pender. Referee Bradley scored 148, 135 for the still champion of the world, Pender.
Carmen Basilio comes over to congratulate Paul Pender. Paul Pender, still the middleweight champion. And we're going to have the interview now. The photographers are having their day, and now we're going to have the interview with Paul Pender, the winner and still champion in the middleweight ranks in New York, Massachusetts, and the European countries. We can't wait too much longer, Paul. Here's Paul Pender, who has successfully defended the middleweight crown for the third time, and I thought fought a masterful fight. Paul, how did you feel about it?
Well, Carmen's a very, very tough opponent. He'd be tough for anybody.
Indeed he was. I thought he hurt you in the first round, did he?
Second round.
Second round?
I know, he hurt me a few times. He's a great fighter, Carmen, a great person.
There isn't any question about it. Now, what about that cut? I think Leo Pratt and Al Lacey deserve a lot of credit.
They took great care of it, great
Leo
care
on
of
the
it.
right. Did it bother you?
No, it didn't bother me at all. Leo took very good care of it.
Did you pace yourself to come on from about the fifth round?
That's right. I plan on coming on in the late rounds. Of course, Carmen's a very tough opponent to come on with. He comes as fast as you do sometimes.
Now, the 13th round, he seemed to hurt you there, and then you came back and knocked him down.
That's right. He did hurt me. He did hurt me.
Paul, now what are the plans? You're going to Europe?
Well, I'm going to England to fight Terry Downs again. Beyond that, I really don't know.
Okay, congratulations. Good luck and a long reign to you, Paul.
Thank you, Don. Thank you.
Thank you very much, all of you. And that was Paul Pender, who successfully defended his middleweight championship in the Boston Garden tonight.
There you have it. Paul Pender retains his Ring Magazine middleweight title with a unanimous decision over Carmen Basilio. The knockdowns in the 13th and 15th rounds were the first knockdowns of Basilio's entire career. Though he wouldn't say it explicitly, the fact that he finally hit the canvas was likely the tipping point in him deciding to retire for good almost immediately after the fight. The upstate onion farmer would tell the press that he would use his retirement to get to know his apple trees. He'd do that, and he'd also become one of the faces and true ambassadors of the sport. The International Boxing Hall of Fame would be erected in his hometown, partially in his honor, and naturally he was inducted there in 1990. As for Pender, aside from the Robinson victories, the Basilio win would be perhaps the finest performance of his career. Though he was at the peak of his abilities, he would only fight twice more. He'd drop a return bout to Terry Downs, but would regain his title and exact revenge in a third bout with him in 1962. The Boston native was set to face Gene Fullmer. However, the NBA instead wanted him to face Dick Tiger and chose to strip him of the title in September of 1962. Pender took the New York Commission to court and was reinstated as champion. His promoter, Sam Silverman, was unable to secure television rights for a title defense against Joey Giardello. With Gillette's separation from televised boxing, dates were harder to come by, let alone lucrative ones. Fights with Laszlo Papp and Joey Giambra also fell through. His manager, John Cronin, said that despite the idea that Pender was ducking Tiger, he would have been happy to fight him in Nigeria. Disgruntled and disappointed with the lack of opportunities and a boxing system that never seemed to help him, Pender walked away from the sport again, this time for good, and this time as the middleweight champion of the world. That about does it for this edition of Ultimate Classic Boxing. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.